imagine that all your deepest, most profound needs, insecurities, wants, dreams, everything you ever wished for and desired has happened to you, to the character. And this way you can try to relate to the state which is everythingness, that is the fulfillment of all the desires, not only the character's small human desires, every possible desire that you can think of that this illusion has to offer, it is fulfilled. Everything in the appearance is yours and you, yourself. So if you desire something, it is yours and it is you. It's part of you. How can you want it to be yours? You cannot want it to be yours. It's already yours. It's already you. Something is very wrong with the person if he doesn't have any desires, if he's numb, if he's acting as if he doesn't care and nothing matters and everything is the same. It's like a kind of, like monks do that. Monks do that. They dedicate their lives to this simplicity and avoiding things and narrowing things to the point that they can deal with that. And in my take of things, this is the unhealthy way, because avoiding a problem doesn't make it go away. Making the problem smaller doesn't make it go away. And trying to avoid what you desire, but by not showing it to yourself, or trying to fight it, or trying to claim for yourself that you are not like this, and try to reproach yourself, and all this process, this is unhealthy for the character, because it creates like someone very, it's like the character is so distorted from its natural flow. It has urges, it has like abilities and passions, and this way of the monk just smothers everything and tries to hold it in an artificial kind of way. And sometimes they get away with it. They live their lives like this, and they tell themselves that they are making progress because they think about it less and they have less desires. And but it's not true. The nature doesn't change. The nature of the character doesn't change, and the solution is in the nature of the character, not in denying and fighting the nature of the character. Doesn't mean you have to go along with every desire and every impulse you have, and this can lead to very unhealthy behavior. But trying to ignore it, trying to be just holier than yourself, and looking at this thing as if it was something that does not belong to you, the character, can lead you to a very artificial form of the self, and then you identify with this strange form you created yourself, and nothing natural happens, and nothing is evolving, nothing is happening, and the character just, as always, lies to herself that she is making progress in her spiritual past by moving past the desires or controlling the desires. The outcome is being without desires. It's not the process. The process is not eliminating your desires by the power of your will to eliminate them. By ignoring them, by denying their existence in you, by not accepting desires as part of your psychological structure, as a character, as what you are, and dealing with it. Because the thing is, people do not want to deal with their psychological structure. Instead of ignoring, denying, hating our desires and thinking of them as something you have to get rid of on the way to enlightenment or self-realization, awakening, call it what you wish, the natural thing is to observe these desires. Every desire is telling a story about you and your life, and every desire leads somewhere in your life, somewhere that you need to go inside and see what the story is telling about you, about the world. When you look at your character, you may want to check out what these desires are trying to tell you and where are they trying to pull you, because there's a reason why in the basis of desire there is passion. These words are very, very similar, desire and passion, because there is great energy inside the desire. There is great liveliness inside a desire. There's urgency. There's something like a live wire, something that makes you connect to the moment. Desires connects you to yourself and to the moment in a very powerful way. When you have a certain desire, you feel alive, you are present, because this is a wondrous thing that you suddenly become very alert to the thing that you are and the thing that you want, and you see everything, and there is great the word is movement, because I always use this word. It's creating something. It creates the moment. When there is desire, the moment is like enhancing, it's growing, it's deepening. And if you look at it in this light, you can easily understand that desires are a positive thing. The only reason masters and sages and scriptures say that you have to move beyond your desires is because in the natural state, in the stateless state, in a state of enlightenment, you are already fulfilled, you are everything, you have everything, you are this thing, so you cannot have any desires. It's a description of the state, not a process a character has to go through in order to get to this state. And this is, for me, it's a great misunderstanding, because people think that if they will depress themselves and deny themselves and reproach themselves and accuse themselves of having these desires, then they somehow will progress in a spiritual way. They became more complete and balanced, they moved beyond desires, and they can connect to this thing that has no desires. But they cannot do that, you cannot do that. It's like children playing pretend when people try to control their desires. Even monks or very pious people who try to control their desires by limiting and narrowing down their just surroundings. So they become like without any arousal from anything. They are not exposed to the temptations, so they cannot have desires. You can easily see that in Jewish, very religious men, that they will not look at a woman, or the very fanatics, they even cover their eyes so they accidentally won't see a woman, and this way they will protect themselves from this terrible thing, which is desire. And desire is, of course, the opposite of this thing, this God, this everything. So you have to just forcefully narrow yourself down, not expose yourself to this temptation, and then you will be fine somehow. This narrowing down and limiting yourself, the character, from having any opportunity to fall into the traps of desire is a way to deal with desires that is very unhealthy. And it is unhealthy because it denies the moment from its liveness and replaces it with something very, very, very artificial. The person builds a structure of self-denial and self-negating. I don't know the word. When you just object to everything that you are, you say, this cannot be, it's against the rules, it's against everything I believe in, so I will not deal with it by moving through it. I will just somehow lock it, like you have a monster and you lock it inside one room and it's behind bars. Is the monster gone if you put the monster in a small prison and you lock the door? It may not cause so many troubles, this for sure. You may feel more comfortable to walk around in your house with the monster locked in another room and you have the key. You may feel much more comfortable. But this thing, this realization, this being what we are, this awakening, enlightenment, knowing yourself, is not about feeling comfortable or getting by or doing something to make something look better. It's about dealing with what we are and have and knowing what we are. And if we want to know who we are and we have a monster in our house and we do not bother to get to know her, to get to know this monster and to know how to deal with this monster, then it will always be something that will prevent us in a very powerful way from owning our house, from really being free in our house. We cannot do that. We cannot be ourselves by denying this part of ourselves. Desires are inside the structures. They are beautifully embedded inside the structure. This is a wonderful thing that is offered to the character to see where it can connect to the moment. And instead of using it as the tool that it is, with this great passion, we tend to accuse it by being something other than what it is. Why? Because of the nature of the desire. Because desires sometimes can disguise themselves as unhealthy things. There are healthy desires and unhealthy desires. But in the basics, they all try to tell us something, a story, something about the character that the character has to go through and to know about and to learn about herself and to do. And it is a call for action, as every emotion is. Desires are a strong scream for action, for something. When you have the desire for just something delicious, you feel that you see that and you cannot stand in front of it. It indicates that you have a very powerful life force. It wants to enjoy. This is the basic thing that this desire is trying to tell you. If it's about food, you want through this food to feel excitement, to feel happiness, to feel this yearning. It's a yearning for happiness and joy. And food this desire for food offers you this satisfaction, this feeling, but in a small portion. It gives you this feeling. It's a comforting feeling, and it gives you a moment of pure just forgetting everything and just immersing yourself in this tasty thing. But if you look at what it really is, this desire is trying to tell you. This desire indicates that you love life, and for now it will be satisfied with this temporary fulfillment of this desire, small, and then of course you will have to find another way to feel alive, to feel this joy. The thing you can do, instead of ignoring yourself for wanting this natural thing, is to want this beautiful sensation that you have. You want it in your life as a general. This is how you want to live your life. This is your desire. It talks to you through a cake, through a limited form of what is possible in the way. It's not the cake doesn't matter. And if you have desire for a certain someone, it's not this someone. The desire is never for an individual, a person, a specific cake. This is not where the desire is pointing at. It is a metaphor. Every desire you have is a metaphor. And the basic of every desire is this enormous thirst for the absolute experiencing of the moment as something that is deep, profound, enjoyable, colorful. Something that takes you from this mundane existence. And this mundane existence, call it this ordinary existence, is the fulfillment of all the desires when you are in a state of self-realization or enlightenment. This is the state. This mundane thing, this ordinary thing fulfills your deepest desires, that you are not a character that feels that these desires are being complete. You're just everything, lacking nothing. But as long as there is identification of a character with a story, the desire is a symbol, a simple symbol to what the soul or the higher thing really wants. The higher thing, the thing itself, us, unity, oh, so many names you can call it. This thing, all nothingness, only wants to be connected to the moment, not to be connected. It is the moment, so it wants to express itself now, to celebrate itself now, to enjoy this glory of existence now, in this moment. And desires are like these little flashlights in the darkness. They flash and make little circles of light, and then you look at this thing that the circle of light is showing you, and you see, oh, wonderful, this is aliveness, and this is so narrow, because desires only point to the higher meaning. They don't point to the thing you want. It's never the thing you want. There is nothing inside this reality which is real that you are someone who can have. You are not a person that is attracted to someone else and you desire to have a relationship with him. You are one. This desire is already complete. But in the story, the flashlight just puts the light, shines on this person. So all this concept, all this idea becomes it. And this is something that is balanced, because it creates an illusion that the object of the desire is the thing itself. If you look at it and you think that this is true, that the, that the object of the desire is the thing itself, of course you will try to deny it and try to cope with it if it's unhealthy. So instead of narrowing your perspective and trying to move past these temptation and desires, maybe you should take a good strong look at the thing that is underneath the desire. What is underneath the desire? Sometimes desires can lead you to beautiful places, because sometimes they point to a very interesting direction that if you will explore why you have this urge, this desire, this aliveness, this passion to this place, what is this trying to tell you? People without desires find it very hard to know what they want. And losing connection with desire, with the want, is losing connection with yourself. It is a natural thing to have desires, and looking at your desires as the tool that they are, that to the point that they are pointing to, and not concentrating at their very just appearance. Everything is an illusion. Everything is an illusion. Also, your desires, they are a story, a metaphor, an idea. What is this idea in your life? Why do you have this thing? How can you fulfill the need, the passion, connect to the moment, to become the moment through desire? And desires wants us to connect to ourselves, to the moment, to our being. They point to the most interesting places, the most sensual places where you sense that you are alive, because there is such a connection between what you want. It's a great need and want. These are good things. These are healthy things. The only thing is how you translate it beyond the form of the desire, the object of your desire. It doesn't matter what the object of your desire is. It never is the thing itself that you desire. It's always the quality of desire, the quality, what it really means to want something, and what are you willing to do in order to get this thing, and what is underneath this desire. And it's usually only the will to live, to experience life to the fullest. This is why desires exist. You want to experience and express desire, life. You want to deepen the experience. You want to be the experience. You want to be this thing. Desires wakes you up. They like little, not little, like pinches you. You are asleep and it pinches you. I want that. I'm alive. I'm feeling something deeply. I'm motivated to do something, even if it's to reach out for this cake. This is a yearning, a quality inside the character. This is only a metaphor to the will of the character to reach out, to move to a certain place. And desires can lead you to beautiful, interesting, deep places that will create evolution inside the character, that will evolve the character, that will allow the character to express itself more deeply. The only way to become this thing, this what you are, this all nothingness, is connecting directly to what you are, being what you are, expressing what you are. And this is a thing you can only do through the mechanism, through the appearance of a body, through the actions of the appearance of the body. And if you just ignore those impulses, those passions, those desires that are offered to you through the body and the mental process, and you just say, oh no, this is bad. Every holy person will say desires are bad. I have to eliminate my desires and become silent, like a lake, well, without any riffles, nothing, just a lake, a pure lake. And no, you are an ocean, you are a waterfall, you are something else, you are flowing now. When you know who you are, you will become the lakeless lake. You know, there is no water. But until you are this quietness of water, you are running water, not still water, and there's no use to contain the water in some kind of a damp or an artificial way to just try to bottle it, to try to control the movement of the water. You only can acknowledge that you are like water trying to go wherever they are driven to. They have a movement, beautiful movement. And trying to limit yourself in order to control your desires is an artificial attempt to control the character, to evolve in the character, and it's not really changing the character. Because this thing is always free. Nothing can control this thing. Nothing ever. You are always free. And the game, this pretend game of children that you can control it through this approach of denying it and just measuring it, it's like it's just lying to yourself and trying to live to an impossible model of something that you read in a book. Celebrate your desires, not the specific object of your desire, but the quality of the sensation, the thing itself, the finger pointing to something, to aliveness. Not having desires is being a dead man walking, just something very deformed. It's an unnatural way to live without the will and the passion to life, to something, the yearning, the want, the need. It is healthy. It indicates the will to live. The only way these scriptures and sages say that you go beyond the desires is the state itself is like that. It is all thing. It needs nothing. It has no desires because it's not a thing. But unless you are this thing and you transcended this personality, this identification, unless you are in a state of knowing yourself, what you are, beyond every desire possible, because everything is fulfilled. Unless you are this thing, you cannot lie to yourself that you are working and controlling your desires. You need to look at your desires to see what they are telling you about yourself and to make friends with this monster or this water or anything that, any metaphor that you choose to embody this quality in your life. What do you do with your desire? Desire can be beautiful power in your life, powerful engine, leads you to beautiful places. You can take the power that it offers you, the inertia that it's bringing so much power and movement to move forward, to go somewhere. It has so much beauty in it, and harvesting it, to understand it, to use it in a healthy way, constructive way, one that will benefit you, one that will benefit the world, one that is connected to your deepest passions, will make you the best version of yourself, the highest potential you can express, because you will be connected to the moment. Through the desire, you can connect to the moment, and the moment is you.